were carbon copies of one another. But more notably, Joss resembled her father in personality. She was a perfectionist, a high achiever driven to the point of exhaustion and obsession, someone who was happily unaware of everything peripheral. She lived in her own world and was completely fixated on her own needs and interests, which meant romantic relationships were doomed to failure within about 3 dates. Joss sighed and took a sip of her coffee, which had finally cooled to a tolerable temperature. The mother-daughter Sunday morning brunch ritual always took place at Madeline's 6-bedroom colonnaded mansion in Brentwood, a wealthy enclave south of Nashville. Madeline had been left a wealthy widow, and Joss, a cardiac surgeon like her father, also wanted for nothing. He had left her his pied-à-terre, a $1 million 3-bedroom condo conveniently located mere blocks from Vanderbilt, and he had left Joss's mother plenty of money to see her through her remaining years. The McNab women were not imperious about money, nor did they obsess about it. A foundation in Joseph's name took care of the family's charitable donations, and if either woman wanted something, they simply bought it without any drama or preamble. As wonderfully as marriage might have worked for you and Daddy, I don't have the time or inclination for a wife, Joss said, determined to put an end to the discussion. Or even a steady girlfriend. You know that, Mama. When was the last time I brought someone home for you to meet? It had been years. Since college, actually. That was when Joss still bought into the romantic misconception that she could have both a career and love, like most normal people, like her father had apparently managed. But reality had inserted itself in the years since, as Joss began to realize she had little left to give after a long day in the operating room, or teaching, or schmoozing at the endless functions required of Joseph McNab's only offspring. Joss's mother, never one to sit for long, was at the sink wiping down the counter for about the 5th time in the last hour. I realize this sounds like it's coming out of left field, although, come to think of it, she spun around, pointed a wet finger at Joss. Your father was your age when we got married. Joss's eye-rolling began in earnest again. I don't need you reminding me I'm pushing 40, you know, or that I'm going to die an old cat lady or something. Did we just time travel backward 100 years or what? The truth was, her mother did often remind her she was becoming middle-aged, but this was the first time she'd ever suggested Joss should get serious with someone. And to skip right to marriage? Next, you'll be pushing me to produce a grandchild, she mumbled around the rim of her coffee cup. Oh, don't be silly, dear. But Madeline had that faraway look in her eyes, and her lips were pursed in deep concentration. She was thinking, scheming, and that meant trouble. Oh, Lord, Mama, what did you do? Nothing yet. She threw the wet cloth on the counter, picked up the dry towel. And I don't mean you need a real wife, of course, not while you're married to your blessed work. So there are other kinds of wives? Is that what you're saying? This definitely ranked as one of the weirdest conversations Joss had ever had with her mother. Blow-up dolls? Mail-order brides? A computer avatar? What exactly? Madeline threw the towel at Joss, her aim as accurate as ever. I won't even begin to try to figure out what a computer avatar is. Look, I mean a wife in name only. A companion. Oh, sweet Jesus. I knew this conversation would devolve into sex, and I do not want to talk about sex with my own mother. Oh, settle down, child. Madeline returned to their table, which offered a straight-shot view through large sliding doors that led to the expansive backyard. The leaves, in full transition now, were a searing red and orange, and both women's glances continually strayed to the bursting trees and their blazing carpet of leaves below. I'm not talking about sex, Madeline continued, her expression mercifully blank. Although, I do worry. Mama! All right, fine. What I mean is, you need someone to take to all these functions you're required to attend. A woman who can ease some of your social burdens. A woman who can set you at ease before...